Apple has their first May event since the iMac was released back in 1998 next week, and we are expecting iPad Pro, iPad Air, yet another Apple Pencil, M4's potential debut, and premium new iPad accessories, as well as Apple's international rollout of the Vision Pro. But I, for one, won't be watching it live. Want the latest Apple news, leaks and rumours? Subscribe and ring the bell. That's right, sorry friends, but I won't be live streaming before or after this one, as the odd timing means that it'll be around 3 PM and I'll be working in London at the time. So my plan is to watch it as soon as I can get out of that office and probably make a video from the hotel, or maybe even film out and about while I'm in London, as I'll be right by Tower Bridge, so as long as the weather isn't, like London generally is, you might get a bit of scenery too. But already this week, Apple have launched new products. Well, Apple adjacent at least, in the new Beats Solo 4. Much like the entirely confusing and even ahead of next week's event, too big Apple Pencil lineup, Beats seem to have put on a blindfold and picked some headphone features out of a hat to create these. So you'll get spatial audio with dynamic head tracking, but they won't pause audio when you take them off, like every pair of AirPods ever has. They will have Find My built in and one-touch pairing with all of your devices, but no active noise cancellation. And you can plug them into a headphone jack if you remember what those look like, and even if the 50-hour battery runs out, you can still listen regardless. And unlike Apple's $550 AirPods Max, over a cable you can listen to lossless music over the jack or USB-C just for $199. They even come with a case and it doesn't look like a funny bra. Honestly, they sound pretty great. I might grab some when they inevitably get some huge reductions in price on Amazon in a month or so. Let me know if you want to see a review of those. Next up, we've also seen Rabbit R1 get essentially the same reviews as the Humane Pin of basically not really useful for anything yet, but at a much better price. And it's made me wonder if one of the rumours that we've heard about AirPods Pro in the future having cameras might actually make sense. Because the big problem so far is there seems to be very little that these AI devices can do, or have even been teased to do in the future, that your phone probably couldn't just do in an app. There's nothing special about the hardware or the form factor that makes them truly better for their function. But perhaps an AirPod or some kind of smart glasses paired to the phone that, let's be honest, you'll still be carrying in your pocket anyway, these functions could be better translated with a bit more power in the back end using those devices. So far, these AI devices have offloaded basically everything to the cloud, but the iPhone and the Mac in the next chip generations seem to be focused pretty much on processing AI on device and not offloading every request to the cloud. And even when they do need to offload, it'll be over the fast connection of your phone.
Today, we're bringing 5G to iPhone. 5G.
That's already there. So, suddenly this makes a bit more sense. Having a camera in an AirPod that can do that computer vision stuff and actually tell you how much protein is in those nuts in your hand might be a good thing. Don't make up your own jokes. But before we get to your questions, if you've not already subscribed, I simplify Apple so that everything just works for you. So, capacitively tap on that button, no need to smash. I'll wait. Just long enough for it to get awkward. Okay.
Eddie Gardner asks, iCaveAnswers. So, Apple is boosting the neutral net section of the M-series chips. Any idea what new apps they are doing this to improve? Also, neural nets are known to need a lot of memory to function well. Any speculation about a base model DRAM bump to 12 or 16 gigs?
So, with this one, I'm really not sure that we're going to get those RAM boosts. I think it's something that we kind of predict every single time. Although there have been those kind of 18s coming out with the MacBook Pros recently, and 36s, and just different numbers. So maybe, because Apple is doing this, the RAM, the unified memory kind of on chip, maybe they are going to look at some different amounts than most people use. That might be interesting. I don't know, 12 maybe? Yeah, sure. But what are we going to do with this stuff? I think the first thing for me would be live captioning. We can already do live translate and live captioning for things like FaceTime calls, but this still never appeared in things like Final Cut or iMovie, which iMovie would be really good if they kind of made it Apple's version of CapCut and focused a little bit more on vertical video and all of the formats that people actually use now, more than this landscape thing that I've been doing for so long, which is kind of a little bit antique, I guess. But I think things like Live Translate is probably going to be coming, Siri becoming far more useful, all of that kind of stuff. That's where we're going to be going with this. I don't think it's going to be like your basic AI chatbot, but we will see we haven't got too long to wait because we might be seeing some of this next week at the Apple event. I've got a couple of hours longer to wait than you guys.
Marcin Kowalczyk asks, iCaveAnswers. Hashtag iCaveAnswers. Do you think the M2 Ultra Mac Pro might get sunsetted at WWDC, and the studio would only get the latest and greatest henceforth?
I don't think they're going to get rid of the Mac Pro. It is very much there for the niche that needs it, which is the people that need to include huge amounts of storage into their device or sound interfaces, that kind of stuff. The stuff that you cannot put into a Mac Studio because you haven't got the I/O for it. I mean, you've got Thunderbolt there. You could do external Thunderbolt stuff, but a lot of people do want it to be there. They want it rack mounted. They want all that kind of stuff for the big studios and for server rooms. It's not the best server, but, you know, you can do it that way. I do think we might get the bigger chip, though. I think we might be getting that M4 Ultra and then the M4 Extreme this time. We've been hearing rumours about it from Mark Gurman, and, you know, maybe we'll finally get it. They've changed the way that the Pro chips work versus the Max chips, so this could be our year.
Alan B. Unboxings and More asks, iCaveAnswers. Hashtag iCaveAnswers. The Apple TV has not been updated since 500 days, and the iPhone SE has not been updated to a new design since 600 to 700 days. And when will Apple update them to a new design and a new generation?
We have seen already rumours for the next generation of iPhone SE. That looks like it's coming next year. It's going to have basically the form factor of the iPhone 14, 15, you know, the base level one, probably with a notch and not with a dynamic island, which is sad. I think they should put the dynamic island into it. It would be much better in terms of consistency, in terms of messaging, in terms of those features coming to everything. But they do need to differentiate it somehow. Single camera we're looking at, wireless charging, that will all be good. But in terms of the Apple TV, I don't think you need to change the design of it. It just needs to have the newer chips inside, and potentially the A17 Pro might be a great one to put in there because you've got the ray tracing. It's great for gaming. Apple TV is the right place to do gaming on Apple stuff.
Rob Lincoln asks, iCaveAnswers. Hashtag iCaveAnswers. Hey Dave. I saw something about Apple adopting InSkew for on-device AI plugins, but I'm not at all confident of the source. Have you heard anything similar? Seems like the digital assistant I've waited for my entire life might be around the corner.
So I've not seen anything about SDKs for this stuff. I think that might be what we would see potentially at WWDC if they're going to do this big focus on AI, which we're hearing about, as we were talking about earlier with the Humane pin and the Rabbit R1. The Rabbit R1, the design, everyone is raving about it because it's teenage engineering. It looks fine. I don't think it's inspirational. I think some of their other stuff that they do looks fantastic. Audio equipment looks incredible. I think the Rabbit R1 just looks kind of cheap and cheesy, if I'm completely honest. That orange, it's a bit much for me. But, yeah, I think this is where we're going to get this digital assistant that actually does something that we actually want it to. And how good would that be?
Alan B. Unboxings and More asks, iCaveAnswers. Hashtag iCaveAnswers. What if Apple and other tech companies that makes phones, tablets, laptops, and desktops started to use MagSafe 3.0 from the M3 MacBook Air and M3 Pro MacBook Pro?
So we've definitely heard a little bit about these new devices coming with the MagSafe that is direct pins, especially for the iPad, but I don't think it's going to come. Number one, it would still have to have USB-C because that is the wired European law. So if you're going to have a cable, it has to be USB-C, or at least has to have the option for USB-C charging. If they went to pure wireless charging, that would be the puck on the back, which doesn't have electrical contacts. That would be the only way around having USB-C on there, so it doesn't really make too much sense. I believe tablets are the same. They have to have a USB-C port, so I don't really know why, when MagSafe has been mentioned, people think it's going to be the Mac-style one. It's definitely, if they do MagSafe, going to be the iPhone-style puck. And that's it for this show, guys. Thank you so much to the Patreons over here. Love you all very, very much. If you want to join the Patreons, iCaveDave.com/Patreon, where you can help to support the channel, and you can kind of pick what your perk is. If you want to have a FaceTime call with me, I will do that. That's not a problem at all. If you want to suggest stuff for future videos, you can kind of do that with hashtag iCaveAnswers down in the comments anyway. But if you really want like a topic covered, that's the best place to get in touch with me. But do leave me a comment, whatever you think of this video, and thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Want the latest Apple news, leaks and rumours? Subscribe and ring the bell.